Are you tired of being lied to? Are you tired of being conned? Is the Shemitah the latest Jewish con propagated by evangelical Protestant Christians? Hey, I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll, and today we're going to talk about Shemitah, so-called Jewish prophecy that's supposedly 3,000 years old and predicts crises, doom, gloom, and whatnot, right? Because they say there's certain cycles that repeat at various intervals, and if you go back in time and correlate these cycles to the Jewish calendar, bad things happened. Well, for the last year, I've been hearing about the Shemitah, spelled S-H-E-M-I-T-A-H, Shemitah. Sounds like smegma, and it's probably worth just as much. That's right, folks. How many times have we heard about the end of the world, the end of times, the end of the end of the... Okay, well, this is the beginning of the end for these assholes. And I want you people to wake up and recognize that you've been constantly being sold a bill of goods. On the other side, you've got Alex Jones, who, like a broken clock, is right twice a day. But then the rest of the time, he's effing wrong. But nobody wants to call him out on that. Plus, he has about 25, 30 different vitamins he's trying to sell you. Give me a break. All right? But what really pisses me off is that you've got so-called Christians, these evangelical Protestant Christians who are anti-Catholic, talking about solo biblios, but then yet they want to go to some fucking Jewish mythology, which is antithetical to Christian doctrine. Okay? Now, the one thing about the Catholic Church being the only true apostolic church is that the Catholic Church has a history and a tradition, history, that they can rely on, not just solo biblios. Solo biblios meaning only what's written in the Bible. And there's a difference between that philosophy, right? If you're solo biblios, you lose out on all of the history that helps you understand what is in the Bible. But the Shemitah shit is not even from the Bible, okay? It's Jewish mythology, all right? Just like the Talmud is not the Bible. It's not part of the 5 books of Moses, which is the Torah, the Old Testament. So any Jew who follows the Talmud is not a real Jew, because the rabbis rewrote this shit. Basically, the Talmud, if you read it, just Google it, it's essentially anti-Jesus, hysteria. And for those of you who think that Jesus Christ never walked the earth, that there's no historical evidence or proof that Jesus Christ walked the earth, let me ask you something. Then why does the Talmud admit that he existed, call him all kinds of names, rather than say he never existed? Think about it. If I were a Jewish rabbi and I wanted to discredit Jesus, I would say 2,000 years ago, right, in 100 AD when they started writing the Talmud, I would have said back then, he never existed. He was a myth. But they don't say that, right? The Jews, the most literate, educated people on the planet, right? They got their books. It's written down. They've got their history. The fact that they recognize that this man did exist, did preach the gospel, they are threatened by it, should tell you something. Jesus Christ did walk the earth. We do have historical evidence that he was here. And we also have, of course, anecdotal evidence, which may or may not count for you, but he did exist. Now, Shemitah. Why would you care about some bullshit, antithetical, hysterical nonsense? It reminds me of Nostradamus, the French former Jew, philosopher, or prognosticator, who wrote these quatrains down supposedly to predict the future. But there is absolutely no way to predict the future going forward using Nostradamus' quatrains. You can only, something has to happen, and then you go back retroactively to try to match it up with a quatrain. It's just nonsense, okay? It's just complete nonsense. Call it poetry, call it history, call it whatever you want, but it definitely is not predicting the future, okay? Nostradamus did not predict anything, okay? Most likely he was taking some kind of drug, some kind of narcotic, hallucinogenic, and then he wrote his quatrains, which are just 4 lines of poetry, basically. Now, getting back to the Shemitah. Is it worth more than smegma? I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll, and I'm tired of these assholes trying to pitch to you the end of the world, gloom, doom. It's November the 4th, people. November the 4th, 2015. Nothing has happened. The market didn't collapse. In fact, October 2015 was the best month in the last 4 years. Okay? The best month, up 7%. So please, folks, wake the fuck up and stop listening to these assholes. And any so-called Christian preacher who's preaching a fucking Jewish mythology should be removed from the pulpit, because it makes no sense. If you're a Christian, you should be preaching the gospel, nothing else. I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll, coming at you straight, hard hitting it in your face. Make this video viral. Tell your friends. Thumb it up or thumb it down. I don't give a crap. Give me your comments if you thumb it down. I want to know why. All right, until next time, it's Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Peace out.